Hello there my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars video. I hope you're ready to talk about some more Mando. There's so much to break down, and today I want to talk about something I noticed in the new trailer for the Mandalorian and Grogu. Something which has huge implications for the Book of Boba Fett, a Star Wars TV show that came to an end over 4 years ago, but its legacy still lives on. And one day, I can feel it in the Force, Boba Fett himself will return to our screens. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen in this movie, but I'd love to be wrong about that. Something that really inspired me to connect this back to Boba Fett is based on baffled reactions I've seen since the Mando movie trailer dropped. A bewildered sentiment of how is Boba not in this movie. I have covered this topic extensively in the past, but this is the first time since Kathleen Kennedy stepped down. I guess it's now up to Dave, and given he loves the character, I get the impression Boba Fett is going to return at some point. The feel of this movie so far is the perfect setup. But instead today we're talking about two returning characters from his show, the Hutt twins. What's up? The late Jabba's cousins. These two weirdos. And what was really strange and jarring about them when they first appeared in Boba Fett wasn't just the way they entered on their litter being carried, but it was the fact they were so intertwined. Do they not need some personal space? They arrive on Tatooine to lay claim to the throne that once belonged to Jabba, that Boba took from Bib Fortuna in Mando Season 2. In every scene they appear in from there on out, including when gifting Boba a Rancor, they only speak in Huttese, which they know Boba understands. They're subtitled, and at no point do they switch to Galactic Basic. But in the new trailer for the Mando movie, the male twin speaks English the entire time he's addressing Din. And there are some out-of-universe reasons I'll mention in just a moment, but this proves that addressing Boba in Huttese was a deliberate choice. One that was intended to be disrespectful because they know how to speak Basic. I think it was a way to establish dominance, to set the tone for negotiations on their terms. They also know, like I say, that Boba understands it. Yes, my dick. Whereas they're less likely to know that Mando speaks it. Now, if you want to talk about some out-of-universe reasons why the Hutts are speaking Basic, this might have just been a creative choice for the trailer and not the final movie. It might just be for the audience's benefit. There's a stronger effect to hearing a deep voice speaking English, making direct threats to our main hero, than to be forced to read subtitles for a brief snippet. So the voiceover in Basic might just be for the trailer, but I suspect there's a good chance they switch between the two. Maybe they just assume Mando doesn't know how to speak Huttese, even though Din is a known user. Maybe not as fluent as Boba Fett, but the TV show proves that Mando knows several languages, and Huttese is one of them. He understands certain words, speaks a couple of words, but I guess when negotiating with outsiders on Al Hutta, they're going to assume you just speak Basic. As for Boba, Huttese on Tatooine is a language of power. They know Boba would understand, so they knew if they spoke Huttese it wasn't just going to waste. They'd done their research, they know Boba's dealt in Huttese, and they knew given Boba's past, just as they brought in Coruscanton as a means of intimidation, they knew he would understand Huttese was a status symbol in the criminal underworld. Speaking the language on Tatooine, a planet with a tied history to Huttese, has a very strong impact. It was psychological domination. Whereas with Din, unless you know Tusken, your best bet to negotiate with him is Galactic Basic. There are certain times like at the Cantina, or again in episode 6, where Mando seems to understand certain slang words, and in season 2 chapter 10, when trying to find a common language with Frog Lady, he begins offering up some Huttese words, but in terms of proficiency, it's gotta be given to Boba Fett. But returning to the Hutt twins, it's quite a revelation they know how to speak Basic. And in universe, there is a great explanation that comes from the Old Republic. As the Huttese scientist Lippi once said, all Hutts can speak your language, we simply choose not to. And it makes sense that these slimy crime lords would play mind games. And you know, talking about all of this really makes me miss the Book of Boba Fett days. Some episodes were very hit and miss. I was a big fan of the first 2, and of course the Mando episodes, but I definitely think it warrants a season 2. I know whenever I say this it's a very controversial statement, but I really do miss him. You know, watching the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer was all well and good, but seeing so much of the gritty underworld, seeing the return of the Hutts, Rotter in the ring, Dedrick chessboard in real life, chase scenes and what might be Nar Shaddaa, makes me think of the potential of what could have been Book of Boba Fett Season 2. It's such a missed opportunity that Boba is supposedly not in this. But like I said to you guys a couple of days ago, I kind of hope the rumors are wrong. I hope we were all very wrong about this movie. The final trailer is nothing like what I expected, and it does feel like Lucasfilm have kept a lot of surprises close to their chest. but I've got to be honest with you, based on several reliable scoopers and of course the words of Temuera Morrison himself, it doesn't seem like Boba's going to be in this. And Tem is very straight to the point, he doesn't beat around the bush, so when he's been asked about it, he's been like begging to return, and it doesn't sound like he's hiding something or playing coy. So it doesn't seem like Lucasfilm has plans for Boba at the moment, but that could change. There's a change of leadership with Kathleen Kennedy gone, and maybe, and here's a long shot, the movie is setting up Boba's return. There's an homage to his TV show with the Hutts, and for all we know there are some more overt connections. Maybe he's named. I know the movie's not out yet, we shouldn't count our chickens, but that would be the one missing ingredient. For a film that is so fun and so action heavy, if you're bringing bounty hunters from the Clone Wars into this, you just have to bring Boba back. And just while we're on the subject of Hutts, I think a good prediction is that Jabba is going to be mentioned by name. Because the movie is introducing the Mandoverse to wider casual audiences, they're going to see Hutts, remember Jabba's death, and so I think they need to make some kind of allusion to him. Establish the connection between Jabba and his cousins. And in there, I saw a really cool theory I want to run by you, that may be one of the reasons the Hutt twins are so angry with Din, aside from of course, his own mission in this movie, is the fact he's affiliated with the New Republic. And aside from allegiances, there's a very personal reason they're specifically against them. Because Leia, a central figure to the New Republic, is the person who killed Jabba in the first place. And as we know from recent canon materials, Leia is known by many as the Hutt Slayer. They might associate Din with someone he's probably never met. He's only met her brother Luke. But Leia herself is not going to be in this. There are rumours she's going to be in Ahsoka Season 2, so fingers crossed on that. And one final detail which a lot of people seem to have missed is a really cool connection to The Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire by Chris Kempshall. The book states that the New Republic circulated an adapted Sabacc deck with 76 cards, each of them featuring a last known image of a wanted Imperial fugitive. And in the trailer, Mando says he'll take down every single one of them. And this is rather surprising because at the end of the 3rd season, he told Carson Tava he'd only be taking on select jobs. So something must happen in the movie for Din to jump all the way in, to be fully committed to the New Republic, and to want to take down the bad guys. My prediction for the Muse, his homestead is destroyed, but the question is, was it Embo? Was it the Hutts? Was it the Remnant? And here's a crazy theory. What if Colonel Ward, Sigourney Weaver's character, is a double agent? What if she's a secret Imperial? This is a theory fans have had since she was first announced for the movie, and before we knew her character's name. She's a New Republic colonel, she's an X-Wing pilot, but just like with so many other characters in both canon and legends, her motives might be a bit dodgy. So just some more thoughts and theories for the trailer in this one, my friends. I hope you're enjoying these videos, and if you like this one, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and may the Force be with you, always.